Hello, it's Friday, October 31st, 2025, and here's my latest update on the farm and the rice growing adventures and the adventures of living in rural Nagano Prefecture in Japan and trying to create a kind of agricultural lifestyle. So, and a chill lifestyle. So, from the last update, what's happened? The rice was successfully harvested with the help of the local elders and my local friends as well. Then the rice was taken and most of it stored, and I think I mentioned in my last diary about the rice hay and everything, about how you have to kind of cut it up so that it's easier to digest and put back into the land. Well, you can see there's been a change in the rice field now since the last time. It's very green, so there's like grass growing up in between the rice, and then you've also got the rice itself that was actually cut is, can you see, it's actually producing more rice, which is amazing. In hotter climates you could have another harvest, but here it's too chilly, so this won't become viable rice. In fact, we have to cut it soon because we need to put nitrogen back into the soil, and all of this will be good stuff for the bacteria and for the small creatures that live in the soil to feed off of, and hopefully it'll break down, and then by the time we plant the rice next year it will have created a better environment for the rice to live. So all of the rice we harvested, we threshed it, stored it, and then I went to Kyushu, which is the southernmost of the 4 main islands of Japan, for a yoga retreat to get my yoga teaching certificate down in Kumamoto, and that was an amazing experience. I'll have to talk about that in a separate video because there's just too much to talk about, as well as my trip as well, which was 1,000 kilometers there, 1,000 kilometers back, so a 2,000 kilometer round trip. I went and visited my really good friend down in Miyazaki as well, since I was down that end, which is like right at the bottom of Kyushu, so it's really, really far away from here. Tropical climates. They had banana trees, mango trees, palm trees. It was completely different here, which is now chilly. So while I was away, the rice was just kind of waiting, and but actually, as part of my payment for the yoga teaching course, I was able to offer an amount of rice to those yoga teachers, so they were happy to accept that, and that was amazing. And it meant that my rice was being used for a lot of the main meals during the retreat, which was incredible, which was an absolutely wonderful experience, because I got to see people eating the rice that I'd grown here, which was amazing and very satisfying. It was just so cool to see people enjoying the rice, and they were very complimentary about it, and that just kind of fed into my motivation to continue to do this, and to have not only this is not just something that kind of grounds me, but it also helps to connect me to other people as well in a meaningful way. Like providing food and getting to see the happiness on their faces is just, can't ask for more than that, really. So that was brilliant. And I was really worried about what I was going to do with the surplus rice, because we can't eat it all. we obviously need to create some income here as well. So I was really worried, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to sell all of this rice? What's going to happen? But like, a lot of the people at the yoga retreat were so impressed with the rice that they put in orders for it. And actually now we're out of rice to sell. We only have the amount that is going to support us and my local friends here as well who are eating this rice. So that's it. So I was like thinking in a really, really complicated way, like, oh, how am I going to market the rice? How can I like get it onto these like direct from farm websites and all of that? I'm going to have to do all this complicated registration process. But actually within a week of coming back from that yoga retreat, I'd managed to sell it all, which is just fantastic. And at the moment, Japan is still experiencing a bit of a rice shortage, so it was really good for those people to be able to secure a source of fresh, natural rice, and it was amazing for me to be able to sell it to them and have that connection to them as well. So on the rice front, all good. Next steps on the rice is cut this down and put it back into the soil, and then somewhere around December I'm gonna have to plough this field just to get it ready for the growing season next year, the next big adventure. Yes, I've got some footage as well of me polishing the rice. So, you know, you have the rice which comes in its kind of raw form, which has got the husks and everything on it. Well, in order to make it ready to be eaten, it has to be polished. And so in Japan, all over rural Japan, there are these big rice polishing machines. So I'll add in some footage here just to let you see what the process looks like, where I lug the bags into the machines, pour the raw unprocessed rice into the machines, and it just polishes it there. It comes out, and there's a scale next to the polishing machine which allows me to check exactly how much I'm putting in people's bags, and then I just popped those bags into boxes and shipped them all over Japan. So thank you very much to all the people who bought it, and I'm really happy to be able to have that connection from this land to all of those people. Wonderful. Actually, I'm going to be going back to Kyushu next month, so at the end of November, for another 2 weeks to complete that training course. So hopefully I'll get some more interesting footage that I can share with you as I drive again another 2,000 kilometer round trip across Japan. Looking forward to sharing that. Right, so on the farm, what's next? What are the next steps? Well, the thing that I've been working on most at the moment, actually just like a couple of minutes ago, what I just finished doing was I was burning some weeds from the upper field, and not the rice field. It's actually well, let me show you what it's going to become. So the last couple of days I've been working really hard to make this field into a usable condition, because it's been just left for the last few years before I moved here, and hasn't been used. So it was sort of covered in dense coverage of weeds. If you have a look here, this land doesn't belong to me, right here with all the yellow flowers. Although the yellow flowers look very nice, this is just a very dense weed coverage, and that's what my field looks like before I came in, cut the weeds, burned the weeds, cut some more, burnt some more, and then have a look how it looks now. So this is kind of a before, and this is an after. And I went to the local agricultural co-op and borrowed a hand tiller, rotavator, like a plough, from that centre. I borrowed a little K truck as well, you know, the like mini trucks that they have here in Japan. I borrowed that from my friend, and yeah, brought it here, and then worked really hard yesterday and today to get this field in a state which is going to be ready for what? Spelt wheat, so heritage wheat. I don't know why, I just felt like growing wheat, and I didn't want it to be the usual stuff. I wanted to really give the heritage stuff a try, because I've always liked spelt bread, and it's more nutritious. It's not been modified like modern wheat variants, so there's a lot less gluten in it, so people who are gluten sensitive actually tolerate spelt pretty well. Me personally as well, like, I don't feel like I get on very well with the very processed breads and the processed flours, but I love bread and I love cookies and cakes and all of that stuff, so I really want to have a source of sustainable organic wheat for myself and my friends. So what better thing to do than give it a go, give it a plant. So I've got the seeds in the house, they're ready. After ploughing it, I think it's best to leave it for at least a week, which allows any organic matter which has been mixed on in there to go back into the soil and become nutrients for the soil. Yeah, so it's looking, I'm very pleased with myself, as you can probably tell, for making this go from a kind of, from this sort of a thing with weeds popping up everywhere, which, as you can imagine, the local elders are not particularly happy with, to this sort of a thing. So next week we'll plant the wheat, and I'll document that as well and share that with you maybe next week, just so you can see that whole process. The timeline for wheat is you plant it round about now, and then it grows up about 10 centimeters, and once it's 10 centimeters you stand on it. I'm reliably assured it's okay to do that, and it makes it stronger. And then once we get into December, the frosts are going to become more regular, and that basically stops the wheat from growing, so it goes kind of dormant and just stays like that. But then around March, April, as it gets warmer and warmer again, it then shoots up and becomes more like the wheat, you know, as you imagine in your head, you know, the taller stuff with the heads at the end, the tails. I don't know what that's called. The bits with all the grains on. It's called hort in Japanese, but I don't know what it is in English, because I've never farmed in England, but I only farm in Japan. Yeah. So that's the timeline for this space that we've got here, and really looking forward to seeing how it goes. Might be a total disaster. I had planned to put cow manure on here, but the prices of it had gone up in between the time of me researching and me actually wanting to buy it, and it made it not very economically viable. So I did a lot of thinking and research, and spelt wheat is allegedly supposed to be pretty tolerant of nutrient poor soil, so I'm hoping it will be a bit more forgiving. It looks like really well drained soil. There was a lot of clover on top as well, which clover is apparently good for adding nitrogen back into the soil. We'll see how it goes, but if it's good, then that would be a bonus. I mean, if it's enough just to make a couple of flatbreads, I'd be perfectly happy with that as well. Although, yeah, the amount of money I shelled out on organic seeds, it's not very viable. I should have just bought them from the shop, bought bread from the shop if I was going to do that. So yeah, fingers crossed that goes really well. Yeah, so next steps, what have we got going on here at the farm? Well, planting the wheat next week, and then I'm looking for, although rice planting season isn't in for a while yet. Next year, I'm in the hunt for some second-hand farming equipment because I basically have nothing. And last year I was borrowing from the village elders, but I don't want to take the mickey like too much from them. So I've put the word out to everybody in the village that I'm looking for some second-hand agricultural equipment. So hopefully that will produce some results. What else? Well, on the lower vegetable field, the non-rice field, let's go there now, shall we? We've got peanuts that are just about ready to harvest, I think. So I think you can see, so it's sort of like just after 3 in the afternoon here. It's very dark. It looks like it's going to rain. Otherwise, I would harvest the peanuts now, but I want to do that when it's slightly drier weather, because otherwise the peanuts themselves won't dry out very nicely. So I'm gonna give them a little bit more time in the ground. Will that be the right thing to do? I'm not sure, but let me show you the lower field, how that's looking now. We've got, so while I borrowed that hand plough from the agricultural co-op, I took the opportunity to refresh some of my vegetable beds here in the lower garden. You can see there's a lot of organic matter in there, aka weeds. But we're not using any chemical assistance. So yeah, that's a bit inevitable, unfortunately. Or fortunately, it might end up enriching the soil. We'll see. We've got the peanuts here. These guys are ready to go. I'll probably make a separate video for the peanut harvest, so if you're into peanuts, have a look at that. In fact, let me see if I can show you. The peanuts are fully formed and looking ready to go. So yeah, when the weather stabilizes a little bit, I'll get these out of the ground, dried, and hopefully eaten. Another bed here. You can see, freshly ploughed early this morning. Konnichiwa.
綺麗に起こして。
あ、そうですね。まだちょっと足りないんですけど。Local village elder. Yeah. So this morning, freshly ploughed, we have tomatoes, which are still battling on despite the cold weather. Good on them. But I really need to tidy these up. Yeah, they're actually, I mean, they're looking pretty sad, but they're still alive. We've got chili peppers, which are going all wrinkly, and other chili peppers here as well. I had a bumper crop of these this year. They did really well, I think, because it was so hot, and chili peppers are known for liking the heat. I also thought that peppers, you know, like regular bell peppers, loved heat, but they just didn't. I've got some here, and they just didn't produce any fruit. And I think because it was too hot, because once it got colder, have a look at this. Big fat pepper suddenly grew in autumn, which is unusual. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was my agricultural methods are just wrong. Is a strong possibility. We've got zucchinis, or courgettes as we call them in my home country. This guy I left on before I went down for my yoga course, and he's now, can you see that? Yeah, ginormous. This is now what would be called a marrow. I wonder if it's edible. I'll give it a go. Give it a try. It looks humongous, so I'm not sure if it's going to be viable, if the seeds in it are going to be too big. But yeah, give it a try. Over here, I was given in springtime some cucumber plants from my friend, and he said, I don't know what type of he gave me pumpkin plants, and he said, I don't know what type of pumpkins these are, just plant them and see. And they've just been super, super healthy and happy, and they've produced they've produced this thing. I don't really know what that is. I think it's a type of pumpkin. I'm just like leaving it. I want to see what happens if I just leave it. So it's produced that, and there's one other fruit as well on another vine. Can you see here? There's the vines crawling out along the ground. Yeah, and producing cool looking fruit. So we'll see. I don't know. Give it a go. Make a soup, right? I mean, if you season it well enough, it doesn't matter too much, does it? I don't know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's the news from the farm. Oh, last thing is bears. This year, all across Japan, but also in our village, bears everywhere. They're coming down from this mountain and eating persimmons from we have an abundance of persimmon trees in our village, and they're coming down and eating them. And just a few months ago in the neighbouring village, a chap was attacked by one of these bears. So the type of bears that they are, they're not like grizzly bears, like the brown bears you get in North America. In fact, we actually have brown bears here in Japan, but they're only in Hokkaido, thankfully. So it's not those gigantic ones, but it's the black bears, which are smaller, but a little bit, they can be quite aggressive. So people have been really on the alert of late, because not least because of that attack a couple of months ago, but also their behaviour is like very unusual. And I've been speaking to the elders, and they said never heard of bears coming down into this far before. So yeah, something's happening. I've heard lots of different theories. I've heard that there are more bears than usual, and the dominant bears are keeping the high ground for themselves, because it's cooler up there. Maybe food is more readily available, I don't know. And they're chasing out the less dominant bears, and they've got nowhere else to go except where humans live as well. So very keen to avoid a bear. In fact, I actually saw a bear a couple of days after we moved here in early June. I was taking the dogs for a walk very early. I think it was like 4:30 or 5 a.m. and I was taking the dogs for a walk, and I saw a bear much further down there. I think I might have mentioned in another one of my videos where it was, but yeah, I saw a bear running into the forest just as I was approaching it. So luckily it ran away from me, but there have been reports that they've started to sort of become less scared of humans, and they're running towards humans, which is very much not what you want as a human. We don't want them learning that we taste delicious. That would not be good. But yeah, it happens. Strange things are happening with the climate, so strange things will happen with the animals as well, right? I think I mentioned in another video, yeah, my friend, my shaman friend, thinks the animals are taking back, that humans have been bad stewards to the earth, so they believe it's time to take back nature. And could be. All right, well, I think I'll end my update there. Yeah, that's it for now. thanks for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Happy Halloween. Tomorrow's All Saints Day and Dia de los Muertos in Mexico and other places that celebrate that. So happy festivities to all. Stay warm if it's cold where you are. Stay cool if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And yeah, cheers.